Hello, everyone. Welcome to Untold History, the channel where we explore history's most fascinating events, many of which have shaped the world we live in today. Today we delve into one of the most legendary battles of ancient Greece, the Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC. This confrontation has gone down in history not only for the incredible bravery of the Greek defenders, but also for its decisive impact on the course of the Persian Wars, a series of conflicts between Greek city-states and the Persian Empire. The story of Leonidas and his 300 Spartans has been told and celebrated for centuries as a timeless example of sacrifice, courage, and duty. The Greco-Persian Wars began when the Greek cities of Ionia rebelled against Persian rule in 499. Although the rebellion was put down, the interventions of Greek city-states such as Athens and Eretria in support of the Ionians infuriated the Persian king Darius I, who promised to punish the Greeks for their audacity. The first Persian invasion attempt occurred in 490, when Darius I sent a military expedition to subdue the Greeks. The Athenians achieved an impressive victory at the Battle of Marathon, which curbed Persian ambitions in Greece, although the Persian threat did not disappear. After Darius' death, his son, Xerxes I, inherited the throne and revived his father's plans to expand the Persian Empire westward. In 480, Xerxes launched a full-scale invasion of Greece. His army was the largest ever assembled and was composed of troops from various nations subject to Persian rule. Xerxes' objective was clear: to subdue the Greek cities and consolidate his control over the entire Hellenic peninsula. Faced with this threat, many of the Greek city-states decided to join in an alliance, knowing that the only way to resist the Persians was to act together. One of the first points of confrontation in this great invasion was the Thermopylae Gorge, a narrow mountain pass that connected northern Greece with the south. Thermopylae, whose name means hot gates due to the nearby hot springs, was the ideal place to stop the advance of the huge Persian army. The pass was so narrow that the Persians could not deploy their massive forces, leveling the battlefield in favor of the Greeks, who could take advantage of the terrain to compensate for their numerical inferiority. The defense of the pass was entrusted to a Greek contingent led by the Spartan King Leonidas I, who commanded a small army composed of approximately 7,000 soldiers, including 300 Spartans, famous for their discipline and military skills. Sparta, at the time, was one of the most militarized cities in Greece, and its warriors, known as hoplites, were considered the elite of the Hellenic forces. Despite the fact that Sparta did not send kings into battle without the full backing of the army, Leonidas led the resistance at Thermopylae with a small group of Spartans due to a religious holiday in Sparta called the Carnias, which prevented the bulk of the forces from participating at that time. They knew that the narrow terrain offered an excellent opportunity to defend against Persian numerical superiority. The battle began in the second week of August 480, when Xerxes' forces marched with enormous confidence, believing that victory would be easy. Xerxes himself expected the Greeks to retreat in the face of his army's overwhelming numerical superiority, but this was not the case. During the first 2 days of fighting, the Greeks managed to keep the Persian troops at bay. The narrowness of the Thermopylae Pass prevented the large number of Persian soldiers from being deployed effectively, and the Greeks managed to hold their positions and repel Persian attacks. The military tactics of the Greeks were fundamental in this first stage of the battle. Using the hoplite phalanx, a compact formation of heavily armed warriors, the Spartans and their allies held the front, while the Persians, with their less armed soldiers, could not break through their defenses. The Greeks, though numerically inferior, took advantage of the narrow terrain and the superiority of their armor and spears to inflict heavy casualties on the Persian ranks. Xerxes, surprised by the Greek resistance, sent his elite soldiers, the Immortals, a Persian infantry corps famous for their numbers and skill. However, they also failed to break through the Greek defense, as the narrow passage of Thermopylae negated their advantages in numbers and mobility. Despite the valiant resistance of the Greeks, the course of the battle changed drastically due to the treachery of a Greek named Ephialtes. This traitor revealed to the Persians the existence of a secret road around the mountains that could be used to outflank the Greek positions. With this information, Xerxes sent a force of troops down this route, allowing the Persians to surround the defenders. When Leonidas realized that his men were about to be surrounded, he made a strategic decision. He sent most of the Greek army back to save them and prevent an all-out massacre, but he, along with his 300 Spartans, decided to stay and fight to the end to delay the Persian advance for as long as possible. Alongside them, about 700 Thespians and 400 Thebans remained, who shared the fate of the Spartans in the final struggle. This heroic sacrifice allowed the rest of the Greek army to retreat and prepare for the coming battles. According to the chronicles, the Spartans and their allies fought to the last man, knowing that their sacrifice would not be in vain. In the course of the fighting, Leonidas was killed, and the Spartans fought fiercely to recover his body before being annihilated by the Persian advance. Although the Battle of Thermopylae ended in a Persian victory, the sacrifice of Leonidas and his 300 Spartans became an immortal symbol of resilience and heroism in the face of adversity. The battle also had a profound psychological impact on the Persians, who realized that Greek resistance would not be easy to overcome. Soon after, the Greeks would win a crucial victory at the Battle of Salamis, where the Athenian fleet, led by Themistocles, defeated the Persian navy. The Persian defeat at Salamis was a turning point in the Persian Wars, and by 479, the Persians would suffer another decisive defeat at the Battle of Plataea, ending their ambitions to conquer Greece. The Battle of Thermopylae is still seen as an example of how a small group of people, united by a sense of duty and loyalty, can face a much stronger enemy. The phrase "Molin Labe," which is attributed to Leonidas when the Persians demanded that he surrender his weapons, has gone down in history as a symbol of defiance and courage in the face of oppression. This event was much more than just a military confrontation. It was an act of sacrifice and bravery that resonated throughout history. Although the Spartans and their allies were unable to stop the Persian invasion, their fight gave the Greek forces time to reorganize and ultimately defeat the Persian Empire in the battles that followed. Today, the legacy lives on as an eternal example of what it means to fight for the freedom, honor, and survival of a civilization. Thank you for joining us in this analysis of one of the most iconic battles of antiquity. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave us your comments. Until next time in Untold History.